and I think I am live. All right, what's going on, everyone? This is Zen from Zen Multiverse, and I hope you're having a great day. So, we are here to do a spoiler reaction review to Gunslinger Spawn number one. So, just in case you're unfamiliar with a reaction review, I read the book 10 minutes before a stream, and I come on live and I do a reaction to it. So, we're gonna get started in a little bit, but before that, time to hit that intro. Time to hit that intro.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother. 友人の剣をくらえ
All right, team, bringing it back. All right, just want to make sure that the sound is sounding amazing, and it looks like it is. So, Gunslinger Spawn number one. Just read it about 10 minutes before the stream, and let me just say, it's refreshing, right? It's a refreshing read. So, just to open up, the prelude to this is actually Spawn Universe number one, which I read. So, if you haven't read that and want to know more about it, I'll do a review on it. But regardless of that, you don't actually need to read it just to kind of like jump into it, right? So I'm going to show you a couple of panels. So we open up with Gunslinger Spawn, and he's basically talking to Spawn, right? And this is at the end of Spawn Universe number one. And what they're talking about basically is that Spawn, Al Simmons is basically asking Gunslinger Spawn, like, what are you doing here? How did you even get here? What brought you to this place? And Gunslinger Spawn is like, I don't know. I don't know what brought me here. I'm supposed to be in the 1800s, right? The late 1800s, because it's like 1860 something. So Gunslinger Spawn is like, like, I wish I knew, but I don't really have time for this, Al Simmons. So he leaves, right? And basically he gets on what is this thing? A motorcycle, right? Uh, what's going on, Steven? Live on let me put on the check the transparency. All right, so I could see it. But yeah, just showing love to the community. I'm trying to get it back on the flow. But yeah, so Gunslinger Spawn basically, is telling him X, Y, and Z. Um And Gunslinger Spawn is basically saying that, he has to go. So he gets on this motorcycle. He's going through the motorcycle, but he comes to the point where um he stops on the motorcycle, right? And the reason why he stops on the motorcycle is he um because there's no gas. But he doesn't know that, right? Remember that Gunslinger Spawn does not know that he doesn't know anything about gas, for lack of better words, right? Gunslinger Spawn only truly knows about um anything that he knows. He gets on horses and things of that nature. So all of this is very foreign to him, right? For lack of better words. So he then come across like a shed or something of the nature. But we also are introduced to a character named Taylor, right? Taylor just seems to be a teen character who's just going for a joyride with his friends. He's chilling, he's relaxing, as you guys can see right here, drinking, going for the joyrides, and things of that nature. But then we come across a shed, right? A shed of sorts, and Gunslinger Spawn is talking to Taylor, and he's just he's just saying a whole bunch of smack to him, right? Because that's what Gunslinger Spawn does. But Taylor is he's scared, right? He's basically telling him like, put me down, and my name is X, Y, and Z. And Gunslinger Spawn is just basically telling him like don't mess with me, right? Or else you're basically gonna get a bullet through your head. And Taylor is he's questioning him, right? He's not really questioning him, but he's questioning what he doesn't really know. But again, Gunslinger Spawn doesn't know anything about this day and age and the technology that we have, right? So we kind of get skip a scene, and not a scene but a panel, and we lead into the Dark Angels, right? And we have the Dark Angels making a pact with um what seems to be the angels themselves, but they're talking about new spawns recruitment, right? And this is again, a prelude or a story to um the Spawn universe, right? So we don't know what they're actually doing, but then we're getting some talk between Taylor and Gunslinger Spawn, right? And Taylor is basically saying the reason why and I'm skipping along a little bit, but he's basically saying the reason why your motorcycle is not working is because you don't have any gas. And he's like, gas? What's gas, right? And you know, he's like, to fuel your bike and X, Y, and Z. So he says, where can I get this gas, right? Can you show me to this gas, right? And they have a little banter back and forth, which is pretty cool because remember that Gunslinger Spawn he's naive to a lot of these different things, right? He's naive to a lot of forms of technology, right? Because one of the things that Taylor mentions is like you could just Google it, and Gunslinger Spawn is like, what? And he's like, can you show me this, right? And he said, basically, Taylor says, I need to go home first. I need to go home to go check something, but my dad doesn't want me home at this time. So Gunslinger Spawn questions that too, and he's like, don't you find that weird? Which, yeah, he should, right? So but I'm not really thinking too much into this as I'm reading because I'm like, you know what? It probably just means something about the parent, like maybe he's an abusive parent or something of the nature, right? So then we get a whole bunch of angels who like come to the area where Gunslinger Spawn and Taylor is, and Taylor's like, he's like, for lack of better words, you see it on that panel on the right hand side. He's like, "Get your ass back here." You know what I mean? Um, and Gunslinger Spawn is just battling these guys, right? He's taking out his knives. He's battling them. He's like massacring these angels, right? And it comes to the point where Gunslinger Spawn, just obliterates these angels. And he then says to Taylor, "You want to know how to kill a dark angel? I'm going to tell you how to kill a dark angel." He said, "You don't go for the chest, you go for the head. Right between the eyes, you go for it, right?" And he said, "You know what also works too?" He said, "A knife. A knife also works too." And it's pretty cool because it gives you inclination on the type of character that Gunslinger Spawn is, which I was never truly privy to. And then we get a scene where basically Taylor's like, "Nah, I'm good. Like, I don't need to learn all of this stuff." But they eventually go to where they could get more information, and then we could get a follow up in terms of getting that gas, right? So they go to Taylor's house. Now, Gunslinger Spawn does not know what's happening, but he goes to Taylor's house. But beknownst to him at Taylor's house, there seems to be a deal going on with the Dark Angels and Taylor's dad. Yes, his dad, right? And basically, it's some kind of sacrifice of sorts. John Stone, what's going on? Um, so it's kind of wild in this case, right? That we don't really know what's going on, why the dad decided to make a deal with the angels, but for some reason he did, right? And Spawn, and remember, it's some kind of sacrifice of sorts where Taylor is the person. So Gunslinger Spawn is, this is not happening because through the panels, even though it's a short book, right? He's not gonna let anything happen to Taylor. So he jumps in and he basically is telling Taylor to stay away, but Gunslinger Spawn gets on these angels, right? He gets on these angels, and it kind of comes to the conclusion of the book where then we get to be continued, right? Now you're probably wondering that was pretty short, right? It was short, and we then get more information that pops up in some mini stories. I'm not going to get into the mini stories. We have a couple of mini anthology books. We have the Lynching, right? And we have Weapons, and then we have some other stories, right? The next one is called A Small Gift, and then we have a book called I think that's the last one, right? Until the next Gunslinger Spawn books come out. comes out, which it did already, right? And basically, those little anthology books give a hint into the personality of Gunslinger Spawn, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool, right? It's pretty dope. It's pretty cool. And overall, I would say that this book is good, right? I have number two. Number two, I'm reaching over for number two because it's right here. This is Gunslinger Spawn number two. I haven't read it yet, so if you guys want more Gunslinger Spawn and just more information about the story, I'll do another reaction hype review because it's good. It's good. I've only known about Al Simmons, but not too much about Gunslinger Spawn himself, right? I know his character, has a good story in the sense of like he was hung and he went to hell and he became a hellspawn, right? Now, they mentioned this in the story too, but I think throughout the others, throughout the run so far, he is one of the weaker spawns, right? He's not one of the most powerful spawns, but we already know he's one of the cooler looking spawns, and his attitude is cool too, right? So he has more character, for lack of better words. And I think through the new toy line that's going to come out, the new figure toy line that's coming out for Todd McFarlane, that it's going to do really well, right? And we want to see more Gunslinger Spawn. So I'm gonna hop out of here, right? I just wanted to come in to do this stream hype reaction review, and then I know a lot of folks are gonna watch it after the fact, and they're gonna be like, "Oh man, Zen, I didn't know that you're streaming." So, but I'm gonna do another one. I'll post it in the comments in the community tab, right? If you want to see me do a part two for Gunslinger Spawn number two to get more about the story, because we left off on the cliffhanger where Gunslinger Spawn was just about to decimate these dark angels. But with that being said, this is Zen from Zen Multiverse, saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying the content, drop me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video with like-minded people. Don't forget to drop the like because the algorithm needs the likes in order for it to work, right? Unless you don't like the video, and that's okay too. But you better like the video. Later, everyone. I'm gonna hit that intro for the outro. So yeah, enjoy.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother.